80% of all books purchased in the world are nonfiction. And that's not an accident. People are hungry for the truth. They connect to real stories and real experiences, real voices, and that includes yours. So if you've been hiding behind fiction because your story feels stranger than fiction, believe me, I know this, and you think it's almost safer to make it easier and make it fiction, I need you to hear me right now. When you write fiction to avoid your truth, readers can feel it. The book feels hollow, and hollow books do not sell. The world doesn't need another made-up story. It needs your truth, your story. Today, I'm going to give you 10 reasons why I'm begging you to write your story in nonfiction and not fictionalize it. Let's go. Reason number 1, your truth is your biggest competitive advantage. No one can write your life. No one has your life. No one. Your expertise, your authority, your lessons, your perspective, these are all the most irreplaceable assets that have you as an author. Fiction stories put it in more of a competition with thousands of other storytellers that are telling something similar to each other. Nonfiction is a lane that only you can run in. And the moment you step into the truth of your own idea, you actually become on another level. You become unmatched. No one else has that subject. No one can compete with you. Reason number 2, your readers want transformation. They don't just want entertainment. 80% of readers are nonfiction. They buy nonfiction books. And it's not because they're just bored and they want like boring nonfiction. It's because they're looking for something. They need education. They want answers. They want some understanding of something. They want to relate, a way to relate or connect with someone. They need some healing, some growth. And nonfiction offers an authenticity when you're writing that simply cannot be touched by any other genre that is not truthful. And with fiction, the reader is almost a spectator. They can feel the disconnect. They may connect with a character. They may be able to relate to what you've kind of embodied, but they don't have the deep connection with the authority of the author. And with nonfiction, you really can take the reader with you. And there's really no greater thing that a reader can do than take someone somewhere. Reason number 3, your voice is the authority. So use your authority. People are not searching for characters. They're searching for voices, lived experience, real wisdom. Someone who has really kind of been there before and made it through, or someone who's actually experiencing something right now that the reader can connect with. Whether it's a personal development story, memoir, a business story, readers really devour every authenticity and authoritative perspective. And your voice has that power too, but only if you actually use it. Don't keep it locked inside. A fictional character that is cloaked as you, it just doesn't land, doesn't really connect with anyone. And if this is landing with you, please hit subscribe, because I can tell you, when I tell the truth about publishing, you'll want to listen, and it's a lot of things that people wish they could say out loud. Reason number 4, stop protecting yourself. Start connecting. I want to tell you about an author who came to me with a fiction manuscript. She said it was based on true events, and it was so real, raw, just beyond. The scenes were beautifully described. She had to change some names around and change some of the details, and obviously made it fiction because she wanted to really protect certain people, and I totally get that. And there's one moment where she actually was crossing a street. She got hit by a car. The character got hit by a car. And it was wild because struck me, the scene itself was so raw and honest. And I asked her, I said, that scene where your character was walking down a dirt road and got hit by a car, she said, yeah, that was actually true. That happened to me. And I stopped in my tracks. I thought, wait, that happened? That was real? So then as we started uncovering, she said it's wild. This is true. That part of the book is true. And so as we started to really develop the book itself, almost every single moment was real. And she actually wrote her whole life, and it was hidden behind this, I don't know, like almost like a veil. It wasn't even that thick of a veil because I could see that it was truth, and it was so raw and so honest, and her manuscript felt like that. But it also kind of felt like it was fake because she made it so outlandish and so wild. And I think what was really kind of buried in there is almost she was afraid to figure out what she could write and what felt so wild that she couldn't really write it. And so after some coaching in a couple of years, we really were able to develop something really powerful in her own personal story. And the book became a bestseller. What I want you to take from that is that she really connected with her own story, but was too scared to feel like it was her own story. And it almost in a way felt like it was so vulnerable to her to reveal certain points that she didn't want to reveal it and she didn't want to talk about it. But as we realized her story was so truthful and so authentic to her, after the book became a bestseller, she was able to speak and share it with so many different people, and it truly became a massive success to her, and it built something that really is indescribable for many people. And again, she did change the characters, and she kept it as a memoir. We made it become nonfiction. And part of it is like, do you think she thought someone would judge her, or that maybe she'd be in legal trouble? But again, you add a disclaimer in the front and you sell it as nonfiction. You put your name on the front cover and you pick the title that you want it to be. And it becomes this beautiful story that unfolds like magic and not really disappearing or hiding behind a thin veil. So stop protecting yourself, because that connection will really build something powerful for the reader. Reason number 5, nonfiction readers actually do buy more. Nonfiction readers consume more than any other type of genre. Yes, fantasy has a huge devoted following. And yes, they consume a lot of books. But nonfiction readers overall really do consume more of your products. Think about it when you watch something online and what you listen to, what you share with people. Most of it really is the real goodness of someone, stories of truth and of experience and expertise. When you speak in your authority, you create content that multiplies, whether it is speaking or creating a course or doing YouTube videos. One nonfiction book can become a huge enterprise for you. So it's the course. Well, the book becomes a course, becomes a column, becomes someone that really resonates with it. It becomes another book. It becomes a keynote. Your story is not just this one entity. It's a huge content ecosystem. Your story is at a premium, so price it and position it and write it as truth. Reason number 6, in fiction, you get lost. In nonfiction, you get found. Here's the hard truth that nobody tells aspiring novelists. Becoming a best-selling novelist is extraordinarily hard. I'll repeat that. Becoming a best-selling novelist is extraordinarily hard. The market is crowded. The editorial process is long. The energy required is something that is beyond grueling. It's enormous, the energy. I'm working with an author right now on her 3rd developmental edit with her fiction book. It's taken 3 years to get it to where it's packaged for a developmental editor to feel connected with it. The publisher's still excited. They remain very poised on identifying a publication date after they finish the developmental edit. But this has been 3 years. 3 years. And this is not uncommon. This is a real thing that happens with fiction, because the characters have to be deeply developed and also honed in a way that I don't think can happen with nonfiction. With nonfiction, actually your concept already exists. It's your experiences and it already happened. You're not inventing a whole world from scratch. You're creating a broader perspective for a reader to connect with. Are you brave enough just to write it down as the truth? Reason number 7. The math has already told you. Nonfiction wins. This is not my opinion, but it is just the math. Adult nonfiction print units per year, ready for this number? 225 million adult nonfiction units per year. That's how many sells per year. Guess what adult fiction is? 103 million. The market has already voted, okay? This is more than double. Nonfiction wins. The only question left is, are you ready to show up for them? I'm ready for you. Reason number 8. One nonfiction book can build an entire business. We kind of addressed this earlier, and fiction becomes a business as well, and it takes multiple books to become this incredible series and then a franchise, years of building it and developing it. And really, one nonfiction book can create an entire business vertical on its own. A memoir becomes a workbook becomes a course becomes a community, and a community becomes a movement. It's not just a book, it's a business card, and it's also a funnel. It's a never-ending conversation with the world. One book, one truth, unlimited reach. Reason number 9, you are already an authority. You don't need to become one. You already are one. Whatever your nonfiction topic is, business, entrepreneurship, memoir, pop psychology, parenting, your book makes you the person who owns the space. Whatever the title is, that is what you become. In fiction, you compete for a genre. You compete for shelf space. You compete against hundreds of storytellers and book clubs and book clubs, book readerships. There's awards. There's so many ways that you're competing with yourself and competing with so many other people in that particular genre. You're competing with hundreds, almost thousands of storytellers. And nonfiction, you are the category. All you have to do is write it. Reason number 10, writing your truth heals you, and it heals your reader. Writing your truth really does heal you, and it opens so many doors for your reader to heal themselves. People get meaning from your truth. They process their own experiences through yours. They feel less alone because of what you were brave enough to say. If the truth stays hidden, can you even imagine what the world would lose? I have an author who actually wrote something deeply authentic. For a long time, he was too afraid to talk about it publicly. The book really wasn't moving, and I didn't really want to ask him about it because I thought he would tell me and he would reach out to me when he was ready. And one day he said, Chapter 8 was the most vulnerable thing I've written, and here's why. He finally opened up completely about it. The audience that showed up for him, an audience he never thought was possible. And they came and approached him because they finally were able to connect with his truth. And he told his truth out loud. Now, again, the whole book is developed in such rawness and beauty. But it was really that chapter 8 that opened him up to then to really share his own truth with everyone else. This book, this audience showed up for him, and an audience that he never thought was possible. And because of that, he actually was finally able to tell his truth out loud. This book has your name on it. You have to own the truth of that. Your truth is very easy to write. Saying it out loud is where the miracle happens. Again, here's the 10 reasons. Your truth is your competitive advantage. Readers want transformation. Your voice is the authority. Connection beats protection. Nonfiction readers buy more. Fiction drowns you in the crowd. The math says nonfiction wins. And one book builds a business. You are already an authority, and your truth heals people. So, what are you waiting for? The story inside of you is wisdom, it's truth, it's beauty, it's love. The world needs it. Stop hiding it inside of you. Stop hiding it behind a fictional character, a different name, a safer genre. Be honest. be interesting, be you. Because the most extraordinary thing about the truth is you can be completely and unapologetically real and sell 1 million books because of it. What's the nonfiction book you have inside of you? I want to know about it. And most importantly, the world needs to hear it. If you want help getting it out of you and into the world, that's exactly what I do at the Nominate Group, and specifically inside the Author's Ascent. Start for free. The link is in the description. You do not have to be a bestseller to sell your best. You just have to write your truth. Please write it. Begin now.